Doctor Who Episode 2 that has the scariest of villains. Oh, sorry, no, that's the Doctor. Easily to get them confused. One man in a dress is very similar to another. This dude does manage to be incredibly creepy. And not just because the introductions are always so awkward.
Get away from him.
Them.
What?
Me.
What?
I'm them.
You're who?
If I met him down a dark alley, he'd get my wallet without a fight.
You're who?
It'd be like, look mate, I know you're unhinged, it's fine, please don't eat me. I just want to be left alone. Normally I'd cross the road, but this is an alley, and I know you've got far more experience in one than I do.
I'm going solo.
Now he did say that for every fan they lose due to the crap they're making, they're going to replace by 3 to 5 new fans who are coming in for the representation. And I can't help wondering if he just means 3 to 5 fans by volume, as he is kind of 3 to 5 villains himself. And I don't know, I just can't see how the maths would work otherwise, because 3 to 5 people are coming in for the representation. I'm just not sure there are 3 to 5 men with orange hair who wear dresses to replace all the normal people. Portland isn't that big, and well, I'm sure most of Hollywood would be up for it. They tend to keep that behind closed doors. We start with a pianist teaching a kid how to play the piano.
Wrote this when he first discovered he was going deaf.
However, we very quickly start to destroy all of music theory.
There is one thing you might like. It's called the Devil's Chord.
Yes, apparently there was a secret chord that got lost throughout the ages, and it requires a musical genius to discover. We ignore that music is just maths, and a piano doesn't have that many keys. No, in this, you have to just accept that apparently chord's never been played before.
It was banned by the church in medieval times. It allows the devil to enter the room.
And nobody else since that time has ever played it, because otherwise a lunatic is gonna enter through your piano. Nobody played it because it sounds like ass.
Makes you shiver, doesn't it?
Cringe, much like the villain, actually. So he plays this new song, and then everything goes horribly wrong. Is we haven't just damaged an expensive piano, instead,
Yeah.
there's a knocking. And much like if this person turned up at your front door, the one thing you shouldn't do is let them in. Video doorbells were basically invented due to the lowering of social standards. Opening that was a mistake, wasn't it? I mean, I'm not sure just dropping it would have been the solution. You want to be cramming that lid down on their face and dropping it in the ocean. But then the script evolves to the standard level that you now expect from Russel T Davies.
Get away from him.
Them.
What?
Me.
What?
I'm them.
You're who?
I think that's meant to be funny, but it's exactly how I feel. If we are going to change the English language, can we at least not have the thickest part of society do it for us? If you can't even obey the foundational principles of language, I don't really want your opinion on it.
You're who?
That's the best insult. When you just talk in a weird voice, it really shows you intelligent rebuttal. I know what I was saying there, but I don't know if it came across through the accurate impersonation of the complete retard.
Nice to see you again.
To see you? Nice.
Nice to see you. To see you.
Oh, and if you thought the previous part of the script wasn't confusing enough,
You know each other.
That's my daddy.
just so we're all aware, that means through 3 different parts, we've now basically called ourselves everything. At this point, you're just being deliberately obtuse. Of course, as Russel T Davies continues to get more senile, that'll just happen naturally. They're like, oh, your name's Henry Harbinger. That makes you the Harbinger.
Harbinger.
We had to get him to scream it out, just in case the audience was too thick to both put Henry Harbinger together and visually see the letters on the screen change into Harbinger. But if you can't read, well, we also said it out verbally for you, just in case. Look, this is going out on Disney Plus now. We can't assume that our audience can read. But it turns out that this thing is called Maestro.
But what are you?
I mean, I've got some ideas, but I don't think you'd like to hear any of them.
Music.
I mean, if that's true, you're what Britney Spears would create now. You're what would happen if DSP had a singing career.
You're a genius.
Basically, all the references to music in this episode piss me off.
Clever enough to find the lost chord.
Yeah, I mean, it was just sitting there on the piano. If anyone had pressed those 3 keys together at the same time, it would have caused the apocalypse, but luckily, nobody throughout all of history did.
But it's so sad.
Loud is funny! This is me acting, and this is me really acting. Can you feel the acting involved? Obviously, this kind of thing is meant to be on stage. As a comedy performance, it's meant to be entertaining. Doesn't work in what is essentially meant to be a serious television show. It certainly doesn't work as a villain. How am I supposed to take you seriously? How am I supposed to be scared of you? You can tell me how powerful you are, but if you can't take you seriously as a person, how on earth could I ever believe your power? If you had the power to control the world, why would you look like that? It was like you've never had luck, and therefore all those songs, all those melodies, they're inside you, wrapped around your heart. Do you want me to set them free?
They sit there still, wrapped around your heart.
I mean, would you answer yes if somebody said that to you? Because apparently he does. He's just one of those people the show was never made for. So he's an idiot.
I would love that, yes. Yes.
I told you, he's an idiot. I mean, quite frankly, not trying to leave the room already confirmed him as such, but, you know, you have to remember this is set in London. It's always been full of nutters. And so, he starts playing. I mean, that kind of went exactly as I expected. The music literally rips out of him, kills him, and then he eats the music. But he doesn't just eat the music. Yeah. It's a kid's show, you see. That's why we've got a little bit of gentle thrusting into his mouth. And whatever that was. He's gonna need a smoke after that. And as She-Hulk proved in any quality television show, you always need one thing. We've got to break the fourth wall, folks. That's smart. Nobody does it, and that means when you do it, you're super witty. Ah! He fainted! Those are the reactions you're gonna get. Oh, I can't believe they did that into the intro! We even tie it into the jukebox on the other side. Aren't we intelligent people with orange hair? So I want to see the Beatles recording their very first album. Normally it's the TARDIS that takes them to a place because it knows what's happening in time and knows where the Doctor needs to go to fix it. But in this, we decide to just happen to end up at a place where all this is going on with an evil god. That's a coincidence.
Oh, wait.
I just, no. Even the mannerisms are like genuinely repulsive. You have all the same issues of I need to be able to take you seriously of the villains as you do with the Doctor, the person that you're supposed to think is the most intelligent person to have ever lived and is capable of wiping out everything. And it's like, yeah! No, stop it. So she's worried about her clothes because, I mean, neither of your clothes are particularly anti-60s in the first place. They all look bizarre and like a unicorn's thrown up on you, so they would have fit. Instead, though, we've got to run around the incredibly badly designed TARDIS, which seems to only been designed this way for wheelchair access. We have to run around the entire outside for half an hour to get anywhere, rather than just going up some steps. And then we have outfits, which they don't look that much different to the ones you were in before. Oh. The Metro wasn't right because Aisha Iftikhar wouldn't know what used to be made for British people anyway. But it's definitely right about now. This isn't made for me. So they spent about half an hour walking around the TARDIS trying to get to the exit. Which in the end has to be cut because it takes too long to walk to the exit out of that terribly designed mess. They turn up at the recording studios and the first person they see in 1960s London. How very BBC of you. Just assume that 1960s London is 2024 London, and you'll get a sort of more accurate image. Just remember it's made by the BBC. Those people have trouble tying their shoelaces. Either way, they offer to give her a break by handing out the tea.
Oh, right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. What a British accent that is. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you to everything.
Then you.
To everything.
You did too? Spoon.
Thank you.
Spoon? Then you.
Incredibly British. But then we find out that the Beatles don't have any talent.
My dog is alive, he's not dead.
All of this is meant to be what happens if an evil god stops people making good music. But I just see it all as a big metaphor for Russel T Davies' writing career. An evil oppressive force have hung over him and destroyed his creativity. It does make the episode far more entertaining when put in those terms.
I love my dog, he loves me too.
Quality on par with the episode of Space Babies right there.
If you want a dog, get your own.
I'm not sure when drag turns up, it destroys all pleasure in the universe is really the message you intended to put across with this episode, but it is your storyline. Either way, they get suspicious and start going around other studios and finding out that other people are also crap at their job. This is like just walking around the BBC offices and watching them work.
Good luck, Scylla.
Ah, yes, would that be Cilla Black?
Life is full of surprises.
Surprise, surprise, it's Cilla here.
We are two, we are not three.
I mean, she's not wrong. 1 + 1 doesn't equal 3. So at least Russell hasn't completely degenerated to the state of the Californians on Twitter. I remember when they were arguing 2 + 2 = 5. They were so sure of themselves. It basically proved that what started as an ideology morphed into an IQ test.
And I love you.
I To be fair, it's not that much difference than Cilla Black was even in the 60s. There's a reason why she started doing Blind Date rather than continuing a singing career. That's a remarkable expression that accurately summarises how I feel watching Doctor Who. You're in a permanent state of what the hell is going on? Later, they even go and confirm it with an entire orchestra. I'm not really sure why they're playing Three Blind Mice, but it's not as if it's bad music or anything. And so they try and investigate, but first, they have to randomly drop something in the script that we're going to pretend is incredibly important.
The wind blows through the trees.
It's called aeolian tones.
It was so random a piece of information, it was definitely going to come in important later. Since music is the highest form of thought, you can't just take that away. It has massive consequences. And then he notices that history has changed in Finland.
If music is gone, everything is changing. The human race is taking a different path.
Yeah, like all of entertainment is being destroyed right in front of us because people got raised to positions they never earned and didn't deserve and are incapable of filling. So all of humanity is now taking a different path as it rots through incompetence. The more I think about this episode, the better a metaphor it is. They decide to split up and ask the Beatles, what on earth is going on? And then we get this woman, which Twitter has shown me, she keeps popping up in every episode. She's Susan Twist and keeps appearing in various different episodes. The question is, are all of these supposed to be the same person? Or did they just think it was cheaper to hire one person because all old women look the same anyway? I guess we'll find out.
I've got a cup of tea for you. Mr. Epstein sent me.
Not that one. But they have a discussion about how he's writing songs for the band.
They're not very good, are they?
Oh no. Great.
Awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. I love to fail. It's like putting on orange hair going, I'm not very attractive, are you? It's like, well, no. Awesome. That's exactly what I was going for. I can't be physically rejected. I decided to look horrendous on purpose.
That's great, lad. That's how it should be. It's not like the old days.
Yeah, it's not like the old days when we had competent people doing this stuff with talent and creativity. Now we have equality. Everybody's exactly the same. And that means all those crap people that can't do anything, give them a chance. See what they come up with. This is about uplifting the inferior. Everybody's the same. I'm sure there won't be any difference. It turns out the Beatles just want to actually crash their own careers so they can go back home and do a proper job, because singing is embarrassing. So at least I agree with them on something. It all sprung from the 20s and 30s, where the world just saw sense all of a sudden. They decided they didn't need to make quality things anymore, and instead should focus on putting really awful things front and center as forms of entertainment. Seriously, the more I get into my rewatch of this episode, the more it seems like a cry for help. What if this turns out to be a documentary?
Can't do that. We need you.
What for? I'm not good at anything.
That could have been my conversation with Russel T Davies when he came back. No, Russell, we need you to come back. He's like, no, you don't understand. I'm crap now. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be retired.
There must be better songs. Songs that lift you.
So the doctor's like, don't you think there should be better songs? Song that lift you. Greater creative things that go beyond just having checkboxes in media. Don't you think there's a better reason to make something than just to uplift random people that couldn't get there by talent?
And devastate you and make you soar.
Don't you think good things exist in the world? Isn't there something worth fighting for, Mr. Frodo?
Are tucked away somewhere in secret in the back of your mind.
And he goes, well, actually, of a night time, I do have some notes that just spring into my mind.
I just want to go home, forget this life, just have me tea and go to bed with a woman of my own.
Well, we can't have that, you bigot. I'm sorry, but this just isn't made for you, Mr. Beetle.
Then why do I wake up crying?
Best we can do is a man or nothing, I'm afraid.
A single note, and then a second, and a third, fourth.
Yeah, that's how music works, mate. It's like walking. You put one step, then the other, then the other, then the... We're supposed to think this is so deep and complicated while talking about the most basic of topics. Can't imagine where that may have happened before. And so he tries to make the music.
I love you so much.
Everyone stops. They look at him as if, what on earth are you doing? That was horrific. All I'm saying is if a god really hated quality music, it would have loved what he just did. That whole bit sounded more like a dog choking than somebody singing. But as he looks round, we end up with their ugly mug all over the place. In the door, in the tea place, on a spoon, next to the salt, in the glasses. I mean, this goes on for far too long, and it's like Zack Snyder designed it, because it's all in slow motion. Ooh, artistic. So after this goes on for far too long... I mean, you are horrifying, but not for the reasons you intend. He, like, snaps out of it. He has to go at him. I can't believe you made me do that, you disgusting peasant.
Do you know what you are with your ideas, pal? Disgusting. You are disgusting.
Based economy.
That's the moment the show gets surprisingly based. What we need is a proper doctor.
You are disgusting.
What the hell was that?
Karma? I don't know. And so the doctor starts a test. Puts a piano on a roof.
Oh, London 10!
Just going for a bit of a mince.
London 10!
Putting on a fake London accent. You should have stuck to your native Rwandan.
Then you
Check everything.
You did too? Stood.
Thank Thank you.
Spiller?
And then we get random lore dumped a bit where it's like, I live over there with my daughter, but my daughter might be dead. I don't know, because some bubble went through the universe and wiped all the Time Lords out. And I'm like, what? You don't mean the Flux, do you? Because if it's not that, I don't know what else you could mean, because the Time Lords were wiped out by the Master, not a bubble, and he only did it on the planet because that's where they all were, because they were hiding. So I genuinely have no idea where this lore's come from.
Time Lords were murdered, rolled across time and space like a great big cellular explosion.
I don't even know how that works. The Master just wiped them out on the planet. He didn't do anything to everything else. I'm so confused. So the Doctor asks her to play. He says, I know you can because I saw you in the past.
I'll leave you there.
She's like, oh, I didn't know you were stalking me, is what her action should have been. He says, I didn't know you were there. It's like, yes, I was stalking you. You've got into a creepy car with a stalker. This isn't smart. Decides to play a song that she wrote herself.
For my friend Trudy, when a girl broke her heart.
Of course she did. Anything else would be too normal for this show. The most surprising thing about this world in Doctor Who isn't that humans make it to space, it's that they actually reproduce past a generation. It's a very cheery piece, as you can imagine. If you do want to bring joy and happiness back to the universe, you definitely do it with this song. At this point, I don't mind the god turning up just to stop her. Of course, the Doctor is observing people's reactions. They're, oh, we're gonna go to a window and try and listen to the music. And obviously, all of these people would have existed in 1960s London. This is just a standard breakdown of the population at the time. And yes, I know they made him fat and balding, but at least this one probably is accurate. So this goes on for basically forever. It's just music and people's reactions to it and me being bored. Please make a face like you're enjoying music. Quite frankly, I'm amazed this is still going on. I don't think it works when you start adding other instruments into the background song when she's only got a piano. We do really enjoy just slow motion zooming onto Cutie's face, don't we? So this whole music goes on for 2 minutes and 10 seconds. I just looked it up. So understandably, by the time we get to the end, I'm just grateful. Oh, finally! Can we get back to the pissing episode, please? Nobody was unhappy that that song ended, I'm telling you. This is probably the most believable part of the episode, actually. Like, as soon as he appears remotely anywhere near a person, they just run off. And I can definitely imagine him smuggling himself into rooms encased in other inanimate objects because no one would allow you into the house otherwise.
You are disgusting.
This is probably how he turns up at his family's Christmas dinner. They're like, oh no, we got past our security procedures again.
You called.
That was the giggle.
See what I mean about it? It doesn't really inspire fear into anything. A giggle. Looking like someone dragged you through a mum's makeup backwards. You got lost in a woman's clothing department like an episode of Father Ted.
We have 8 priests hanging around the lingerie section. We're talking national scandal.
None of these things are, they don't inspire fear. But the Doctor panics. I can't fight this. The only thing we can do is hide.
You never hide!
How would you know? This is your second episode with him. How do you know he never hides? You've only ever seen him meet 2 different people. On the third, he hides. That's actually an exceptionally high hide ratio.
I can't fight this thing.
See, and that's supposed to be meaningful. I can't fight this thing. Now to the audience, he's like, well, he's fought the Daleks, he's fought all these other things. He fought Satan himself. It's supposed to carry weight. Yet it doesn't if this is a reboot. And it doesn't if the person he's scared of has orange hair. So after kneecapping all of the tension in their own episode through their choice of casting, they hide in a basement. Now, me personally, I think this is a really bad choice. Of all the places that this villain is definitely at their most powerful, it will be in a dark room. So the villain starts looking for them, using a tuning fork to track them down. Remember, this is supposed to be scary. This is supposed to be a serious evil villain. I know I repeat that, but it's very easy to forget for some reason. And as you can see, the tuning fork tracks them down to their exact location, except he's going to forget that in about 2 seconds. But Ncuti gets out of his plug and somehow uses that to entirely kill sound within the area. It is a sonic screwdriver, so I guess it could work like active noise cancellation. This is a more believable thing for it to be able to do than energy shields. I don't know why I had to turn into a torch at the same time, though. I can't explain that bit of it. So everything goes silent, and thank God for small mercies. You still have to look at him, but at least you don't have to hear him speak. I still would prefer if they were not seen and not heard, but at this point I'll take what I can get. I'm especially glad I missed whatever that was going to be. Just in case you're incredibly stupid though, and can't work out, there's no noise in this picture, we have to show it you multiple different ways to hammer it home, because after all, you are thick and won't grasp it unless they do that. Bottle didn't make any noise. Now I understand. However, he comes up with a new feat, which seems specifically designed to expose himself at the camera. I'm going to use a tuning fork in water, and somehow the vibrations in the water will overpower the fact that you can't use audio, making it resonate in the earth. I don't really know. Either way, it shuts down his sonic.
Sound and vision.
And we're back to square one. Luckily, though, the old woman from earlier decides that, actually, I quite like that music. I'm going to play my own. This distracts the person who seemingly can't even put lipstick on correctly, who decides to leave the doctor and go after the old woman instead.
Music.
It's Christmas, everybody! Mother, I'm home! And the old woman looks as horrified about this show as I feel. Breaking the fourth wall, you see. It's artistic. I don't think any images have really sent a better message of, did you get dressed in the dark? That's me saying that. But the doctor's like, I only saved us with a trick. One trick. That's how I beat the last guy. I just had one trick, a game of catch, and one trick only works once, and you never get another opportunity. I can't beat them.
Tore my soul in half. I can't survive that again.
It also makes your previous comments of, I'm the only me in the universe, a lie, because now you've remembered. Oh, actually, there is another me walking around. At every single stage throughout all of history. I don't know why we've got to follow the worst one. And so, in true masculine fashion, he has to be comforted by a tiny little girl. What a hero. Sorry. What a hero. This might be the first time the TARDIS has ever just had two women in it. But she's like, I know you're clever, but you don't understand. I come from the future, so clearly the Earth never ended. Because I exist.
Hey, I'm living proof. I was born in 2004 and...
2004? I know the Doctor's meant to be old, but I was born in a different millennium to her. I'm basically 1,000 years older.
all my life I've had Beyonce and Sam Fender and Strictly.
Oh... No wonder you haven't turned out very well. Your idea of music is Beyonce and Strictly. Explains how you get everything wrong all the time. Well, he decides the only way I can get this through your thick skull is to show you. He takes her back to her home and, well, it looks just like London, to be honest. I'm surprised she didn't walk back in there and go, yeah, and? I mean, London in the 60s, very different place, but this is basically London in 2024. It's a bit cleaner and there's less people, but overall, pretty accurate. I'm surprised she even knew anything was wrong. I guess she's only crying because it's not what London used to be. Travelling from the 60s London to now, it's definitely going to bring you to tears.
This is what we're trying to stop.
Yeah, many people tried to stop it, but it's too late now. It's already happened.
It's just like a parallel universe.
That's how I felt when I went there.
This is your home if Maestro isn't stopped.
This is already your home, Ruby. Like, but it's a wasteland. Yes, it is. It says the reason for this utter destruction of London isn't what you might expect. No, it's because music wasn't allowed, and without music, you can't express your emotions. If you can't express your emotions, it leads to war. And the only reason she's here is because the TARDIS and the Doctor are holding her in place, much like when the Butterfly got destroyed, the TARDIS could still hold it in place. I mean, that's basically the state of public transport in England anyway. The only thing out of place in this scene for London is the fact that the police box doesn't have a homeless person in it. Because there's a man wearing high heels, but again, I mean, it's normal for London at this point. That's just standard over there. And so, just when you think you've entered a Little Britain sketch...
Oh, that one. That one? That says with deepest sympathy.
Instead, we get music. And I'm just glad we've entered a studio so I don't have to look at London anymore. Time travel, you step from one time to another, all because...
That was you in 63, wasn't it? Sweet cheeks.
There's a lot of terminology like that in this kind of modern era. Sweet cheeks, babes. We're really getting that Zoomer office face kind of lingo all over the place. It's all a bit repulsive, really. We find out that that is actually the child of the toy maker, and...
I should thank you, Doctor.
Yes, I should thank you for getting rid of him, and there is a reason why. I don't know if you could predict it. I don't know if there's a subtle clue that might be given somewhere in the episode.
Daddy was so bad to me.
And you know what that means.
Dad issues. Daddy.
Sorry, I never saw this coming. Here I was thinking that you were an extremely well-rounded, normal human being. Couldn't have even imagined that your upbringing may have been a bit unusual. I mean, we are 5 seconds away from this guy going, ooh, bitty, aren't we?
Daddy was so mean, Daddy was so tough.
Like, seriously, this is
Daddy.
the episode. And again, I think this is just Russel Davies' projection documentary. How did I end up losing my talent? Well, there was this episode in my youth.
Daddy me.
Like I said in the first episode where it's like, we're all unique. It's like, if that's true, how come you're just so stereotypical? But as ever, the villain basically just dumps his entire plan on everything. Like, well, if you're the essence of music, why do you want to get rid of music? He's like, no, get rid of that music. I want to wipe out all music and people in the universe. Specifically so, the only music that's left is nature itself.
Purest music of all.
Aeolian tones.
There's a reason why we said this thing that nobody cared about earlier. And we don't want to do it just on this planet. We want to do it across the entire universe. Wipe out everything. I'm not quite sure how you'd do that because I don't think every species even had music, but we haven't thought that far ahead. And he gets stronger the more songs go unsung. It gives him more power so he can spread it out further across the universe.
With all of life extinguished.
I'm going solo.
Dad issues.
Daddy.
What the Doctor wants to know, how on earth did you even enter this universe? I mean, I was the one that brought the Toy Master across, but you just appeared.
That would be telling, babe.
No! Babes!
It's not gonna become a meme. This is the same thing as the first time. Stop saying babes all over the place. Nobody speaks like this.
Oh, you see, he just wanted to be polite. She's like, no, babes.
Is this like your rebuttal of when people say dude and say that dude is just gender neutral? And you're like, well, if dude is, then babes is too? Or does it only work because he's effeminate? I'd need to know. What are the rules of your new, weird, twisted language games? Teach me, oh lunatics. But he tells him because he's his father's done, he won't cheat at a game. And so, the way I got into this universe was through the lost chords. And that means that the Doctor realizes a different set of notes will also banish him.
I said genius.
Yeah, except there isn't that many combinations of notes that can physically be played. The only thing that even limits this is the fact that the moment you start playing, he'll hear it and turn up. But instead, he starts playing music, which controls the TARDIS itself.
Doctor dear.
Yes, if I just play this keyboard, for some reason I can control your TARDIS for a reason we haven't quite worked out yet.
It's because every atom vibrates, and that means it's got a note, and if it's got a note, I can control it. Now, that would mean you'd think they'd just vaporize the TARDIS, but no, we're not that smart. Doctor goes in and tries to take control back.
Are we flying?
Holy God.
Yeah, we're just gonna rip pieces off it, despite the fact that he said, I can control the very atoms of this device. None of your equipment would stop it, but for some reason it does. The Doctor takes control back, and then realizes the only place he can go to escape is straight back to where they came from before. So they return to Abbey Road after the notes of banishment. All he's got to do is find the chord, and he's a genius. So presumably he'd be a musical genius as well. I'm not sure how being a genius allows you to just think of the right notes randomly. That's never explained, and quite frankly, we all know they never thought about it.
Sometimes genius is just hard work.
No, it isn't. It really isn't. If anything, it's probably a mix of IQ, talent, and hard work. But if you're an untalented idiot, you're never going to become a genius.
66 billion trillion different tunes out there, but
I don't actually need to make a tune. So the number of tunes there are is irrelevant. You're after a chord. There isn't that many chords. Given enough time, you could brute force them easily. And you means music literally, because the music comes and kidnaps her. And so the Doctor has to stop what he's doing and chase after her. I'm sure it's not the first time she's been tied up in her life. The music, though, seals the doors. I imagine that scene was quite fun to film. And he decides his only option is to break the Beatles studio. All I'm saying is if stepping on a butterfly changes history, that certainly would. Do you have a broken glass changes history button as well? He also goes and grabs his, plug on the way before chasing after her. And there is one thing I like about this episode, and it's this. It's the little hop he does as he goes through the door. I don't know why I like it, but it's got a sort of enthusiasm to it. It's like, yeah, this will be fun. The attitude could even work if he was actually managed to balance it by actually being able to be taken seriously. Like, if he could do those really dark, serious moments, it could balance it out. But instead, we just kind of get, aren't I happy all the time? Either way, she's hanging from the ceiling by music. It's just not scary. And I don't blame the Sonic for being, I don't want any part of this. Like, seriously, you want to point me in that thing? No thanks, I'll be over here, mate, cheers.
Can't trick me twice, honey.
I don't think anyone's ever wanted to meet you twice to find out. The Doctor wants to save her. Fight me, not her, leave her out of it. And then we get some incredible acting talent.
The human laughs music in her heart.
Loud is funny. This is emoting. The louder I get, the more I'm emoting. This is acting. And I tell you what, you want to talk about gammons. And of course, it's not just any music, which Ruby plays.
Lovesick songs for heartbroken lesbians.
Obviously, that's the best kind of music. And I can only assume in this universe, it appeals to about 99% of the population. Seriously, it's no wonder that they had to start making babies in test tubes in the Doctor Who universe.
Makes me hungry.
Judging by how you look, hungry for those babies in test tubes.
For all those delicious songs.
That's what we're gonna claim anyway. And so, she starts making us sing all of the songs. I don't know why. She literally said the songs that aren't sung are what gives her power, but now she's making Ruby sing the songs. Look, much like in episode 1, do not expect the story to make sense, because this is written by Russel T Davies and he doesn't have any talent anymore.
Maestro, I am asking.
The issue is, the song seems to start hurting Maestro.
That's wrong.
Oh, you can't sing that song, I don't like it. What is that song?
Oh, that was the song that was there on her birthday. The day she was left at the church, that's what that is.
There's a hidden song deep inside us.
We need to make the hidden song, and that hidden song is... It's the Song of Christmas, which is everybody knows as a Christmas song, so not sure why we're surprised this is a hidden song, which everybody knows. So then we get her playing the Christmas tune.
What is this?
This isn't just for women. This isn't a song just for people who bang ugly bits with people who have the same ugly bits. How am I supposed to like this music? This is a song for everybody.
You are disgusting.
I haven't spent all this time excluding people from Doctor Who just for you to play a normal Christmas song for normal people. Who do you think you are?
Music that was playing the night that she was born.
Yeah, along with all the snowflakes, which shouldn't exist because they break the rules of physics. We're not even going to talk about it.
How could a song have so much power?
I don't know, you are the god of music. Shouldn't you be the one answering that question?
And power like him? The oldest one?
The oldest one? Him? You mean he's the oldest one? You mean he has the most power? That sounds like patriarchy to me. I won't stand for it.
You are disgusting.
Not in an episode of Doctor Who. Thank you very much. You better retcon that before the episode comes out, I'm telling you. Otherwise, I'm gonna be pissed.
The night of her birth. He can't have been there.
No, you can't. It was a woman, wasn't it? Then we get bored, and we give Ruby what she deserves.
Enough.
Much like an episode of Velma, the best bits of the show are where they're just brutally harming all the people. Unfortunately, the Doctor catches her.
This creature is very wrong.
Look who's talking, love. And so the Doctor realizes now she's safe. What I probably should have done is actually just kick her out of the universe. All I've got to do is find the chord, even though I don't know what the chord is and I've no idea how to get there. I'm going to play random notes and just make it happen. And so that's what he goes to do. Of course, Maestro responds by, we're going to have a music off. I wish I was joking, but I'm not joking. They literally play random pieces of music at each other. And it's meant to be like the dance-off they do, but we're going to do it with music. The worst bit is, you chose the instrument, which is the most obvious that he's not playing on a piano. You can't see his hands, it's fine. But I can see what you're doing with a violin. What was that? Could you see that? He's just gonna go like that, and we're gonna do multiple back and forths from the actual music, and he doesn't even try and mimic it. It's literally just one bow across. We don't even move it back and forth and attempt to follow the music. It's not just out of time, it's I didn't even bother to attempt to try and follow it. And so we get this, they go back and forth with music. It's entirely pointless. Just shut up. It's literally this. There's no point commentating on it. And again, it goes on for about 2 minutes. At least it ends eventually with a, what have I done to myself? I don't know, but whatever it is, I'd lay off the makeup, love. I can understand why that's the noise you make every time you look in the mirror. That's coming from me. Then he starts to try and guess the music. Just eradicate me from the universe with, I'm not even going to stop you anymore because I've already lost the music off. So he gets the second note. He gets the third note. Then just when he's about to get the last one, he gets it wrong. Turns out that whole spiel he did before he started playing, it was pointless, wasn't it?
And I can only smile like this because I have lost so much.
This is supposed to be the serious side, the dark side of Doctor Who, and it just doesn't come across. Of course, as he gets it wrong, he recovers, and then he literally makes a whip out of music. I would just beheaded them with it, but apparently, no, that would have ended the show. We can't have that. Instead, he knocks the piano outside. Yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna make deadly music out of a horn. Let's face it, we couldn't let the entire episode go by without him blowing something, could we? But as they're all getting attacked and they're both about to die, the Doctor is about to lose. As they get sucked into instruments, her into the double bass, the Beatles arrive and they even see the notes above the piano. Meanwhile, the Doctor gets sucked into a drum. I mean, you get what you deserve. The Beatles decide that they're going to play the music that they can see above the piano. And we start playing music which I only recognise from Jonathan Creek. Actually an incredible British TV show, if you haven't seen it, all about a magician solving mysteries. It's great. It's like Sherlock Holmes, but with a magician. But just as they're all about to die, the Beatles comes along and plays the tune. I mean, admittedly, if that's him actually singing that note, quite impressive. We get, simultaneously, a screeching banshee and a piano about to run them over as the Doctor escapes, and they get sucked back into the piano, where they belong.
He's almost here!
Well, hopefully they've got better makeup than you, love. I don't know what you're thinking. You're like, well, that's the end of the episode. The villain's been vanquished. Everyone's fine. The world has been saved, and the Doctor had absolutely nothing to do with it, as the Beatles saved it. Except that's not the end of the episode, is it?
There's always a twist at the end.
We're gonna break the fourth wall again, because that's artistic. Both of these episodes feel like they've tried to replace talent with memes. And you think that he meant a twist in the plot? Oh no, he didn't. No, we're not that lucky.
Always a twist, always a twist.
Yes. Now, I don't know if this is gonna make it into the video, but if it does, if this section makes it into the video,
It's a twist at the end.
I just want you to know this scene goes on for 3 minutes. This is an entire song. Look how many people they got involved with it. They would have actually choreographed an entire dance routine for this. I mean, what the hell is going on? This is not Doctor Who, you cretins. When he said he wanted to do a big dance number and then death drop on somebody's face, I mean, for some reason they decided to give it to him. How to utterly and completely and totally annihilate your credibility and your episodes. You expect anybody to be able to take him seriously as the Doctor after this. Like, before, it's like, I don't really think he can be taken seriously and pull off any dark stuff. You think he can now, do you? And obviously he's dancing with another bloke again. I mean, obviously. Like I say, 99% of the population in this universe. So I'm just going to skip through because this does go on for far too long. There's just camera shot after camera shot, various different people singing all over the place. They even get her to sing. It's just when you're watching this, you're like, what on earth did you think you were doing? So in a strange, genuine twist, they do actually get them to dance with different people, which is unique, if nothing else. Oh, until they swap, and then you're like, oh, okay, no, that makes more sense, actually. You realized you were dancing with the wrong ones. I get it now. Now it makes far more sense. I mean, at one point, it even turns into WAP. I kept expecting Ben Shapiro to turn up and start rapping in the middle of it. It doesn't even make sense with Ncuti Gatwa because guys don't do this. And then just when you think it's over, they go on a crossing and... yeah, for some reason, the zebra crossing turns into a keyboard. Again, like the toy maker, oh, they've left, but their world is for some reason just condensed around us and still has some kind of effect. Despite the fact that this is the opposite of the effect that she had on the world previously, so it doesn't even make any sense. Don't worry, we're just making a joke, right? It doesn't matter if it makes sense. And this was one of those episodes where you're like, I didn't like the first one, and then I saw the second one, and somehow you managed to get worse. I don't know what you thought you were doing with any of this. The plot was, quite frankly, ridiculous. The villain, I think the villain speaks for itself. Ncuti Gatwa is still playing Ncuti Gatwa. Sure, he can do bubbly energy, but he can't do the Doctor. And the Doctor requires you to be taken seriously. It requires you to be able to do the dark parts that the other people did, and he can't. Even when it's written into the script, it doesn't come across as dark at all. And if you can't take the villain seriously, or the hero seriously, then what are we even doing? As well as just torpedoing your entire character and whatever that abomination was at the end. You didn't even write it into the story, would have made sense. You didn't write it into the bit where the God of Music made us do this. Other shows have done it, and to be fair, I hated those as well because I despise musicals. But at least in Buffy, they made it part of the plot. In this, it's done at the end of the plot and has no reason to exist. How did all those people know to do the dance routine like that? Nobody knows, folks. It doesn't make any sense. So I can't imagine the Doctor is going to improve at any point. This would have been their strongest episodes they put first, and we got this. I don't know whether I'll continue the videos after this or not, or do like a roundup episode. I guess we'll see. I guess it'll depend on the abysmal quality that is doomed to follow. But if you want to see it, let me know your thoughts about the episode down below. Like the video if you like the video, subscribe for more videos like this in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.